Welcome to Indian Music Journeys. Thank you so much for connecting to this second episode of a new series, which is exploring the depth and beauty of Indian music. The first episode, I was incredibly fortunate to have interviewed my guru, Pandit Ajay Chakrabarti, and it was so incredible to hear him talk about how he experiences the ragas, his relationship to them, how he connects to them, as well as his understanding of what creativity is. If you haven't already watched the episode, then please do. And thank you to everyone who already has. So in today's session, we're going to be looking at the names of the notes, an understanding of what a rag is and what is happening in a performance. So this is for people that are new to the subject, or you may have listened to some of the music already and you're wanting to dig a little bit deeper. Something I have found through my many years of studying is that this music has a very profound impact, even if you have no understanding of what is happening. Quite often a listener will close their eyes and it kind of encourages one to go inward. So there is a very deep connection to spirituality and connecting to oneself through this music, I find. And there is also a deep connection to nature too. So if we start looking at the notes, and then we'll go on from there. So we have 8 notes like we have in Western music, do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti. We have sa, re, ga, ma, pa, tha, ni, sa. That makes an octave. And sa, being the first note, is the most important note. And that is something that you will hear a lot in a performance, particularly at the beginning. So the word sa is short for the Sanskrit word sharaj, and sharaj means that which gives birth to 6. From there, the other notes, re is short for rishab, ga gandhar, ma madhyam, pa pancham, which is the 5th note, dhaivat, the 6th note, nishad, and then again the top sa, which will be sharaj. And those are the pure notes, sa, re, ga, ma, pa, dha, ni, sa. We also have flattened notes. So re, ga, dha, and ni all have flattened variations, which we call, the term for flat is Komal. It's half a note lower than the natural pure note. So we have Komal re, Komal ga, Komal dha, and Komal ni. And then we have one sharpened note, which we call Teevra, and it's between the 4th and 5th note. So there's a little bit more technical for those that are wanting to study, but just to get an understanding of the names of the notes. From there, these notes are explored in the pure classical form. So the pure classical vocal form is called Khayal. It came from, before that, there was a form called Drupad, which is still sung now. We also have semi-classical music, which is shorter in form, where there is more focus on the words and lyrics and poetry, but they are also sung in rags. And we also have devotional music, which we call Bhajans. I personally perform devotional and semi-classical music whilst also continuing my study of the classical form. It's so incredibly rich. There's just so many layers to it, and I look forward to sharing some of these concepts with you. So a raga, you might have heard the word raga or rag, and I have heard that one translation of the word raga is that which colors the mind. I have been taught to think of a raga as a musical personality or a musical being even. And it is the technical kind of understanding of a raga is that you need to have a minimum of 5 notes and a maximum of 8 notes. And in a raga, one will explore key phrases that will bring out the character of a raga. So when you go to a concert or you're listening to a recording, you will see the word raga and a name next to it. And so through listening to this music more and more, you will start to become more familiar with these names. And the ragas are actually connected to different times of day. And this is where it goes back to this deep connection to nature. This music my understanding first was sort of the origins of this music is kind of goes back around 3,000 years or so. So there's this deep connection to nature and the time of day at a time where we weren't connected to electricity and on our mobile phones like we are now. And so we had this deep affinity with knowing when it was dawn and when it was time for people to gather and start the day and go on with their work and then end the day and have a closing off of the day, and then a time when we're kind of going into sleep, and sort of an understanding of the energy of that, which I think is something that we actually really need to have more of an understanding of now. I know personally when I look at my phone too much or look at screens too much, it's so easy to disconnect with the natural world. And I feel like we are at a time when we need to connect to it even more. So these ragas are performed at different times of day and they invoke different feelings and emotions. Of course, this can also depend on the lyrics of a composition if it's a vocal composition that you're listening to. Vocal compositions can really range from the meaning being about, connecting and praying in the morning, which will bring a sort of more of a meditative feel if you're listening to a rag that is for the beginning of the day, or it might be a connection or a love connection that is being explored through the words between Radha and Krishna. So a lot of these words and the context, a lot of the compositions are devotional in nature for this music. And in the Tumri form, there is also this exploration of devotion and love in all of its forms. So the ragas have these connections to the different times of day, and they have these different sets of notes. So the notes are explored through phrases. And if you study this music, and if you were to study a raga, you will learn the key notes of that raga, and then you will learn some key phrases that help you understand what that rag sounds like. And then you will explore different compositions and note combinations and being able to sing the notes in faster combinations too. And that really connects you to the rag. And the more compositions you learn in a rag, the more you get to know it and you get to understand it. And through listening to recordings of great musicians and watching concerts, the more you develop the relationship with the rag. So I have heard of senior students, of Guruji and of other, great musicians where they might study one or two or three rags for up to 2 or 3 years when they're more advanced, just to really, really dive deep. And then from there, they're able to connect and understand more rags in a clearer way because they have gone so deeply into one form. So when we're learning the notes, we sing these notes, sa re ga ma pa dha ni sa, straight up and down. And then we also start to learn notation patterns, which we call Paltas. I actually have a free class on my website where if you wanted to learn about Paltas and to sing Paltas with me, then if you just sign up on the homepage of my website, I'll put the link below, then you can understand how to sing Paltas if you wanted to connect with your voice in that way. So there is a lot of use of patterns in this music, so creating patterns with the notes. And there is also the use of curved movements with the voice, as well as sort of more heavier movement of the voice for the pure classical form. And in the semi-classical and devotional form, you'll have lighter, more ornamented movements. So I find it helpful to have this understanding of how the voice moves in these different forms. When going to a performance or listening to a recording, you will hear many things. So I'm going to start with the instruments. So the Tanpura. The Tanpura is a drone instrument that plays the first note of a scale and the fifth or fourth note generally of a rag. And what this Tanpura does, it's providing this continuous drone. And I'm going to put a link to hearing a recording of a Tanpura so you understand what I'm talking about if you don't know what a Tanpura is. The Tanpura is an instrument that has the same shape as a sitar. It's the base is made from gourd or pumpkin, hollowed out, and the rest is made from wood. And it has usually 4 or 5 strings, that are played continuously. And this is the instrument that particularly vocalists use to develop their voice. And I find it such an incredibly powerful instrument because it has this natural resonance and volume to it. So when you sing with it, you have to really breathe deeply and develop the projection of your voice in a way that you wouldn't get if you were using an electronic version of it, say. So the Tanpura is providing this drone effect, and it's coming back to this first note, the sa. So like I said earlier, sa stands for that which gives birth to six. So there's this real importance of coming back to our center when we're listening to this music and when we're singing this music. And so it has a very centering effect to sing yourself or to listen to the music. And so the Tanpura, you'll constantly hear the sa and the fourth or fifth note of the rag. From that, if you're listening to a vocal performance, there are often two Tanpuras or at least one Tanpura. And the Tanpura will vary in size according to the starting note of the vocalist. So we have male and female Tanpuras, and the male Tanpuras are generally larger in size. They have a larger gourd, and the female Tanpuras are slightly smaller in size, but they equally have, so much resonance to them. So that's what's happening when you hear a concert. You're hearing the Tanpuras being played and providing this environment for the ragas to be performed. From there, the main vocalist will usually be at the center of stage, and they will either be singing by themselves, or quite often they sometimes have Swarmandal, which is called an Auto-Harp, the translation of it. And that is an instrument where they will be strumming the instrument and playing notes that will connect to that particular rag that they are singing. And in concerts, the vocalist will be singing ragas according to that time of day. It may be that if they're practicing, they practice outside of that, but in performance, they will stick to the time of day. So in a way, it's difficult because we don't get to hear a lot of the ragas during the day. There are some beautiful, late morning and afternoon ragas. In India, there's definitely much more of an opportunity to hear those ragas, and I hope that there will be more festivals and concerts where we get to hear more of those daytime ragas. And then the vocalist will be accompanied by the tabla being a percussive instrument, incredibly rich instrument that has so much complexity and takes lifetimes to learn, really. I've started to study it myself, and I'm really appreciating how much strength is required to be able to play it. And it has its own language. And I will do another exploration of the rhythmical side of things in another episode. But what I find really fascinating and interesting is, like we have this concept of singing the sa and coming back to the sa when we're learning and singing a raga, or at other forms as well, the time is counted in a cyclical way. So where in other forms and cultures the music might be linear, like 4/4, the time is counted in a cyclical way because of this connection again to nature and spirituality, where it's all about coming back to the center. So you can have a 16-beat time cycle, which has 4 divisions of 4. So it will be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 1. And the cycle will keep going. And as we start to understand that cycle, then we can understand what is going on in a performance. So there's this constant reference to the one. And this is another reason why I feel there is this feeling of centeredness when we listen to this music, because there's this reference to the one in the cycle, and there's this reference to sa, the first note of the scale. And then the vocalist is often accompanied by either a Sarangi or a Harmonium or an Esraj quite often. If it's devotional music, there might be other instruments like the bansuri, the flute. And there are different combinations now, particularly, now like For example, I'm born and raised in England. I have experimented and played with other instruments of other cultures as well. But I'm in terms of the traditional form, that's what you will usually see. And if there is a Sarangi or Harmonium player, then or Esraj player, they are following what the vocalist is singing, and they're sort of slightly a couple of seconds like behind because they're following live what the singer is doing, which I find so wonderful. And like there is so much talent to be able to hear something live and continuously follow what that main melody line is playing. And the tabla player will be keeping the time, keeping the cycle, and then also adding ornamentation to that and playing compositions within that to add to the whole performance. In terms of a Khayal performance, the performance will vary in tempo, and it will start from a slow speed and then it will go into medium and then fast. And that's one of the many things that I love about a performance, in that there is this increase in speed. It doesn't stay the same. And it's also long in duration. So it won't be a 3-minute performance. Quite often, if it's a pure classical piece, it will be sort of minimum half an hour to an hour. So the Khayal performance will be a minimum usually of around, say, 20 minutes to half an hour, up to an hour. And there's this real exploration of the raga and looking at these phrases, as well as looking at some key notes that the singer or instrumentalist will stand on that really help develop the picture of that raga. And so the compositions that are slow in tempo, the term we call is vilambit laya, which is the slow tempo. And there might be a short alap before that. And alap is an introduction to the rag. So quite often in a concert, for the listeners that are very seasoned, they will know what the raga is going to be, which raga the performer is going to play within the first few seconds, because they will hear a key phrase and know, oh, this is Rag Yaman. They'll know the name of the rag because they can hear this key character of it. And so, and the word alap means introduction. My mother tongue is Bengali, and so we use the word alap when we're introducing people to each other. And when you're introducing people to each other, you're sharing some key characteristics of that person. So the same thing translates into music. And so in an alap, you'll share some of these key phrases, and then you'll move into a slower composition where you'll explore these phrases and these standing notes with words, with the notation, as well as with the sound R, and the use of vowels as well if you're elongating a word. And then that will start to move into medium tempo. There will also be a lot of rhythmical play with the words also and with the notes. Then in the Madhyalaya section, there will be a change of composition, and it's still keeping that real clear structure and understanding of the raga through the phrases, and singing a slightly faster composition and singing some faster notation movements, which we call dans. So that's where when you're hearing like something really fast going on, it's the notes that are being sung, and then sometimes the words are also being played with there. And there is also this continuous interchange with the other musicians as well, with the tabla player, with the Esraj or Sarangi or harmonium player. And it's just, there's just so much play involved. And there is also a lot of improvisation involved as well, because once you get to know the ragas, then you'll see these experienced musicians who are able to really play within that world of that rag. Then from the medium tempo, they go to fast tempo. And again, there will be a change of composition. Sometimes there is a Tarana, which is sung. A Tarana is a composition that is where the use of syllables and rhythmical sounds in exchange for actual lyrics. And the form was popularized alongside Kathak dance, the classical dance form where you see dancers doing a lot of intricate footwork. And so Taranas are often very playful and also connected to a particular rag, and these are often quite sung in a slightly faster tempo. So that's the journey, going from the slow to the medium to the fast tempo, and the understanding of what is happening with the instruments. The foundational layer is the Tanpura, and then you have the main instrumentalist, vocalist, the Tabla, and the accompanying Sarangi or Harmonium or Esraj or Bansuri, and that exploration. And in a concert, often if you're going to a classical concert, the singer will sing a Khayal form, then they will go on to singing semi-classical forms and devotional forms. Or if you go to, to other artists, they may purely be singing semi-classical and devotional forms, or just the devotional forms. They all have so much beauty. And I will explore these forms and share some recordings in future episodes as well. So I hope you found that interesting and helpful to understand what is happening, to have an understanding of the notes and what their names are. And if you had any questions, please do reach out. I'm happy to answer. And if there was any topics that you would like me to talk about, then I'd love to hear from you. Thank you so much. Take care.
If you're looking to develop your voice and understanding of North Indian vocal music, then I'm really excited to have released a new self-paced course, which is now available on the link below. The course has over 5.5 hours of classes exploring Indian voice culture, introduction to time cycles and ragas, as well as a whole class exploring vocal patterns and the opportunity to practice with it. And if you've already started your journey and you're looking to be part of an incredible community of like-minded learners, as well as learning from me, then have a look at Swaranjali, my Indian vocal music school membership program, where I teach over 30 live classes a year, in addition to exercise classes and access to in-person retreats and immersions. If you have any questions, please send me an email at hello@ranjanagatak.com or send me a direct message on Instagram. Thank you so much, and I look forward to speaking to you.